Okay. Kyle, I've got a few things to talk about. I don't know if I have the entire agenda kind of in my head, but I can go ahead and start blabbering.
Great. Thanks, Signal.
Yeah, so I think we have talked a little bit about how this meeting is going to be combined with the general open source meeting. We may look at changing the schedule, not due to daylight savings, but we may look to change the schedule if it makes more sense for European folks for it to happen earlier. I know it's always kind of a debate over, uh, folks that work in one time zone and folks that want to be able to sleep in the other time zone. Seeing more folks pile in. Um, well, we just had the town hall. One of the big announcements there is that we have an alpha for a new scripting language in Second Life. So that information is here. We also have a blog post about it, but that's on Aditi. Um, there's a project viewer. The code is also available. It is an alpha, so if you're looking to pull things in, please know that the UI is subject to change. A lot of things are subject to change. It's very early with that branch, that project viewer branch. We're up so early, Yuzuru. We are also going to be doing another thing mentioned during the town hall is that we do want to have smaller releases and try to do a monthly cadence with viewer releases on the upstream that will follow kind of like a feature freeze, stabilization, and then release schedule. Can't say that it's always going to be every single month. It might be every 2, or we're still trying to figure that whatever cadence is most natural. Yep, Vivox is making us all a little bit sad, especially during the town hall where it cut out a few times for everyone. Kyle, am I missing any large agenda items?
No, I mean, it's just, I think the recap that Forever FPS was shipped, that's the 7.1.12. Improvements in performance and crash rate, and we very, very closely have our next build coming out. We're changing the naming away from the alphabet, going more towards the year and month terminologies. And so the next one is going to be called 2025-03, and that'll be build 7.1.13. And that's just more follow-up. And I know you can speak to that as well, Signal.
Yeah, I think that about covers it. The cadence will roughly match the server as well, so that will allow us to more effectively schedule things if we want to do things that, like, heaven forbid, require a change in both the server and the viewer. We generally release the server release every month, so that's how it will go for both code bases. Hi, Roy. Christy, that is in the 7.1.12 release. the last default upstream release. I believe it's also in the Firestorm beta as well. Sweet. Now you can have 20 pages of quotes collected from your friends. Yep. Yeah, I'd like to see that tornado. I don't know if we're gonna have that for the next release, but just like when you start up, I don't know, like Blender or something, and it'll display the version in just a simple format. It's easy to understand. It'd be nice to have the same thing for Second Life. Okay, well, it was mostly all of the announcements, SLUA, the SLUA Alpha, upcoming release, feature freeze, version back at the top bar in Viewer 2. Yeah, that actually would be, it's a good idea, Roy. My personal opinion. I can't speak for all of Second Life product, but would be useful. Yes, what Kyle said.
Yeah, that would be nice to see it at a glance rather than having to go into the help menu.
As an idiot director that can barely code, I'm excited because I added a change to the viewer that added made snapshots use a timestamp instead of a number that increments. So that's exciting to me. That'll be coming out hopefully the next release. Yep, see the screenshot. Worley, thank you. Yeah, could be useful, especially if you're juggling multiple versions of the viewer. Yeah, I think on 0. Okay, great. Thanks for the notice, Orly. Does set window size work on Project Zero? Not sure I've tried.
This is more, around the water cooler, but I heard that it was causing issues, and their intention was to disable that. Oh yeah, and this Whirly said no, it does not. Looks like we just lost signal. Do we have anyone from Project Zero here that can help?
Help what?
Whirly's comment there in nearby chat, reset Inara's settings again. And I was wondering, per your question, Whirly, about a shortcut. Does the advanced set UI size to default help? Or is that not going to impact the camera? But do they work if you know the keyboard shortcut? That's the question. I mean, I've been around forever, Tornado. You don't know where I am. Ah, wonderful. Welcome back, Signal. While you were away, we were trying to debug some P0 issues.
Oh, okay. I know Second Life used to have a safe mode. This kind of sounds like one of those scenarios where bringing something like that back could be helpful.
I mean, that happens for graphics settings sometimes. There is a safe mode GPU initialization, but I think it's not for general settings crashes. It only triggers with GPU crashes.
Yeah.
Looks like Roxy's gonna help with Inara's resetting Inara's setting or finding someone who can. So that's being looked into right now.
Great. Thanks, Cosmic.
Done.
That's a good question there, Crush. Signal, is that something you wanted to take?
Yeah. So we're going to be getting certs. I mean, ultimately we need to test if you have a really old version of your, well, I mean, how old are we talking here? Their code base, as far as I'm aware, like, it wasn't a mutually exclusive thing with how they're configured to use certs, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Firestorm 6, I'm sure, will be is compatible, but if we're talking about things that are like a decade plus old or something, I guess that's how far back I'm thinking. The certs are available to test on Aditi. I believe Monty has a forum post with some information. Not any Aditi region. Let me see if I can ask to get the list.
It should be. It should be anything except the main channel on Aditi.
Cool. Thanks, Rolly. It would be unexpected if there's a problem, but of course, if there is, we want to be prepared for the unexpected.
I'll grab a couple of region names right now. Oh, thank you, Ryder.
Jigglypuff is bleeding edge, so it's ahead of Durian. Not by much, but it's ahead.
Yeah, they are. I was just confirming that. Bonifacio or all of the Blake Sea regions.
So on a, oh, it is.
That might have been me. Sorry about that. I thought Jigglypuff was on my test channel, but apparently it was on Bleeding Edge instead.
I can see that a couple more issues being added to the help wanted list in GitHub. The idea is to have a bunch of stuff in here right now. It's just 6 open issues, but mostly things that are, if not shovel ready, are things that we would like collaboration and help on. The idea is that if folks have not contributed to Second Life, or if you have contributed and wanted to knock some stuff out, there's a list right there. Things like reducing the build time, which is like a general bucket of things that folks could help out with. Ideas for improving LOD generation, some bugs, deprecation warning for CMake, stuff like that. So mix of easy and hard problems. Brilliant. Write it up, Brad. Find it. I'm sure there's a ticket for it. I'm trying to convince people to get rid of auto build, but
I
don't
think
know
we need to be the leaders on that one, unfortunately, I think.
right. Okay, but open floor for any agenda items. May have a little bit more to talk about next TBV meeting when we have the next release, more formalized, its contents, maybe more news from Gaines about the open source initiatives. And we'll have switched over to a new CA, so that'll be exciting. I guess in more of an open source tease, we are planning on releasing the Slua virtual machine as open source when it's ready. I think one of the things that we could have done with LSL is make that open source so we could have received contributions to it. In the past, there was always a fear about, oh, what happens if, some other type of Second Life competitor runs and grabs all of our magic serialization behavior and then, uses it. But it turns out that there's a lot of power and critical mass, and we could benefit from having people able to optimize things or help maintain if they wanted to, or have new ideas. Okay, well, final call for topics. If there isn't anything else, I guess we can end a little bit early. And then make sure everyone's aware about the time zone difference next time.
Great. Thank you for hosting us today, Signal.
Yeah. Oh, we got a couple of late questions. Tornado wanted to check in on the status of Luau in viewer ordeal. Could you explain a little bit? And Kitty, we don't have a concrete timeline for the Vivox phase out yet. Would like it to be in this half of the year, but that's not a firm timeline because we still need to get things approved in terms of folks working on it. Yeah, so we have a project viewer, Tornado, that has the ability to edit. Are you talking? Okay, so there's two Lua initiatives. One is Lua scripting integrated and embedded into the viewer, and the other is server-side scripting objects in world. Yeah, okay, thanks for disambiguating and sorry for the confusion. That work is in the, so that work is still in a project branch, and I think that's where it's going to stay for now. So we don't have immediate plans on running out and releasing that. No problem. It's actually our problem because it's Lua on both the client and the server. Yeah, Felix, we triaged that issue and would definitely like to have that re-enabled. It would be enabled on a DD first. Maybe something we can do is we can comment on the ticket when that's out on a DD. Yeah, really, I'd be interested to see what's going on in the logs there with that 6.6.17 release. No update, Christy. Do you have a link to a ticket that I can take a look at? Okay, Shep asks, do we have a date for switching over to WebRTC? It was asked a little bit earlier in the meeting, and the answer is we don't have a formal date for that yet. But when we do, we will announce it pretty loudly. Okay, yeah, let's check some other regions and also try to verify that if it is the cert error that's the certificate issue. Okay, looks like the conversation is kind of quieting down. Orly would still like to, of course, follow up on the 6.x access. And thanks, Christy, for the link, and Alice.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, thank you. I'm gonna still be here a little bit, so chat if you want to and kind of park on afterwards, but thank you for jumping in.